Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. I hope you're all doing well and that you are all having a great day. There's a lot to cover. This actually once again isn't even all of it. I think we're at that point once again where there's just an avalanche of news to start things off. CNBC's Brian Kelly came out with another bullish remark for the price of Bitcoin after the slight rally seen by the coin earlier yesterday. The cryptocurrency was briefly trading at above the $6,500 level and is currently sitting around $6,400. I think it may be around $6,300 now at the time of me making this video. Kelly stated his reason for making the prediction was the expiration of the CBOE's futures contracts. According to Justin Saslaw, an investor at Raptor Capital Management and an acquaintance of BK, this is the market movement that has been well documented in the past. Kelly stated, and I do quote, "This is what happens to Bitcoin's price pre and post expiration. Prior to expiration on average in 2018, you've seen Bitcoin almost down around 7%. And then expiration comes, and over the next 6 days, you see an increase of about 6%. And that's happened basically on average each of these expirations," end quote. To further reiterate his point, Kelly spoke about the peak that occurred in April after the expiration of the futures. At the time mentioned by Kelly, Bitcoin started at the high 6,000s and went on to a peak above $8,000. This represents a 20% growth 6 days after the expiration of the futures contracts. Kelly also talked about the number of short contracts that are currently on the Bitfinex market. The number reached a peak in April with another high coming up soon. He stated, "We're at another high. There's a bit of a squeeze, short squeeze going on. We have a sort of short-term seasonality after futures expiration, and we have the potential for a bigger short squeeze in Bitcoin over the next 6 days. When asked about if this would bode well for the altcoin market, Kelly also explained the market correlation between Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. The altcoin market took a beating in the last bear run with a drop of over 10% for the most significant cryptocurrencies. He stated that the market still followed Bitcoin as the leader due to the high amount of speculation over the past 60 days over an ETF being approved. He went on to say, not going to read that, just a lot of quotes from him. If you've noticed as well, the last couple of weeks, we've also seen that there's a correlation between the price of Ethereum and other altcoins. And this is because I'm sure you've all noticed a lot of different crypto exchanges, when you are trying to change between coins, you can either trade between, most normally, it's between Bitcoin and Ethereum. There are a lot of other exchanges that have added other coins or will be adding other coins in the near future. But at the moment, we've also seen when Bitcoin, when all the other altcoins were falling down dramatically, and Bitcoin was down, I think, around 2%, and the altcoins were around like 16-17%. A lot of that was due to there was some type of negative news a couple days ago about Ethereum. Ethereum dropped and all the other coins kind of followed suit as well. And this is why we need more cryptocurrency pairs. So you're going to see this is yet again another part or iteration of where we are right now in the market. A lot of people are saying that Bitcoin is going to go up or is going to have some type of a bullish moment. When we first got news about the Bitcoin futures last year, I think a lot of people didn't realize how long futures contracts lasted, or that they would have such a dramatic effect on the price of Bitcoin. And typically as we get near the end of it, there's the type of like rally that happens when the futures are done. And this is why a lot of people have been speculating or trying to speculate, or people are talking about when the New York Stock Exchange does finally launch their crypto exchange and they're going to be having daily Bitcoin futures as opposed to these contracts that last for like 6, 7, 8 months with the CBOE. What effect this will then have on the Bitcoin price, because the market tends to follow these long future contracts. If they started in January, they end around August. People are paying attention to the prices, they go up and down. But if there's a new futures contract or multiple futures contracts that are happening every single day, will the price of Bitcoin then follow these things? Or will Bitcoin kind of go on its own because people will kind of get tired of waiting for the 24-hour numbers of other things people are betting against the price of Bitcoin? But this is the first price prediction that we have in this video today. I think everyone is gearing up for whatever is supposed to be coming in the next couple of weeks. Next up, Thailand is in the news, and this is actually interesting. Thai regulators announced on Thursday, the 16th of August, that they have so far approved 7 business entities to conduct cryptocurrency operations as part of the formalization of the country's domestic market. In a statement, Thailand Securities and Exchange Commission, or the Thai SEC, confirmed 7 exchanges, not going to say their names. In addition, the regulator also approved 2 cryptocurrency dealers, CoinTH Co. Limited and Digital Coin Co. Limited, Thai WM. The move forms part of a package of transitional rules governing crypto businesses operating in Thailand prior to the first tranche of regulations that came into force on the 14th of May. As Cointelegraph reported, those entities continue serving customers while applying and waiting for a license by notifying the Thai SEC within 90 days of the May deadline. They said something else, not going to really read that out. What's significant here is that we have another country who was, a lot of people believe they were on the fence. There's like a cluster of countries in this area near Thailand who have either been very favorable to cryptocurrencies, have not been favorable, or have not given us any type of information over the last 8 months as to what they were going to do. And the fact that they have allowed not even just one, but 7 cryptocurrency operators in the country. And this is overall good news, especially if you are living in Thailand, or especially if you have had trouble trying to find some type of way, because this means that they are legal in some sort of way, that you can use them with your bank account without trying to, getting a letter in the mail a couple of weeks later with people asking you, why have you been using so-and-so and stuff like that. So this only continues the spread of cryptocurrencies. I think the timing is still kind of weird. Once again, when did that September deadline? I don't know if that has to do a lot with the September time that we're still looking forward to. But this is very good news. Didn't want to spend too much time on this, but this is still something that I think is quite great for the entire community. So this one is a little weird. Prime Trust, a small U.S. financial institution that's played a behind-the-scenes role in several dollar-backed cryptocurrencies, is entering the hotly competitive crypto custody business, revealed exclusively to CoinDesk. The Nevada Trust Company quietly began offering cold storage for Bitcoin in mid-July and will announce next week that it can also handle custody for Ether and any token issued on the Ethereum blockchain under the ERC20 standard. Such services are in demand among institutional investors, so we've heard, who despite the bear market find crypto's returns alluring, but don't want to bother of protecting the private keys themselves to a digital wallet and or are required by law to use a qualified custodian. In cold storage, these cryptographic keys, which are like a long password and can be used to drain money from a wallet, are kept offline on a hardware device or on a piece of paper that's typically locked away in a safe. However, several big names in the financial services are entering the niche as well. Northern Trust, Goldman Sachs, we've been talking about for quite some time, and ICE, the Intercontinental Exchange, the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange, all looking to offer institutional-friendly solutions. Crypto startups like Coinbase, BitGo, and Ledger have also been courting the market. But Prime Trust says that as a startup launched 2 years ago with all new technology, it cannot maneuver the big boys, referring to Northern Trust testing period and the uncertainty over when Goldman will come out of the bushes with a custody product. Scott Purnell, Prime Trust CEO, told CoinDesk. So 1, this is cool. 2, this is great if you're looking for a custody service for Ethereum. 3, what's kind of weird about this is that they say that they are going to have they will have a custody service, not just for a couple of ERC20 tokens, but for any token issued on the Ethereum blockchain. That is an ERC20 token. If you Google for like a minute and a half, you will find, I found the list of all the ERC20 tokens. Part of the issue is, or not really an issue, is that there's not just like 4 or 5 ERC20 tokens. There are actually a couple hundred. So I don't know if they thought this through. I don't know if they really took the time to try and figure out what they were doing. But I'm just going to scroll through like a couple of them. Just, you can see the names that you like and stuff like that. Realistically, I think it would have made a bit more sense if they had, let's be able to hold around 50 of them. Because if you continue scrolling down all the way down here, we enter, going to keep going. Almost there. Almost there. If I'm not mistaken, I think there are 496 ERC20 tokens. Never heard of Candy before in my life. I don't know exactly how they plan on doing this. I don't know what the technical side of this will actually be, but they are, or rather seem very ambitious for what they plan on doing in the cryptocurrency space. Just thought it was kind of interesting. We have never heard of anything, or like there's no other custody service who has announced like we're going to allow Bitcoin and every other Bitcoin fork that has come from it, because I think as of now it's like 22 or something like that. Anyway, this is the rich people custody news for today. I'm pretty sure we're going to start to see a lot more news as the smaller people. So what happens is that as smaller people when we wait for these mega entities to get into the space, and we have a lot of smaller companies, if you will, smaller companies getting into the space, and they start making taking the profits from the larger players. This kind of weeds out the big guys and pushes them and forces them to kind of, because we all know that Goldman Sachs and all these other players are going to get into the game, just a matter of when they exactly plan on doing it. So this is the other side of the price prediction. I don't know what it is. I don't know who has activated all these people, if they have a switch on their back, but I think a day or two ago we had the news that people were talking down about Ethereum. People were talking about the price is going to go below $100. And I think it's just Bitcoin's term, and I'm pretty sure sometime next week we're going to have a whole bunch of news about people who are letting loose on XRP. I think that's a nice way of saying it. Jim Cramer, who is the host of CNBC's Mad Money, argued that Bitcoin may have reached its peak. His comments came as the cryptocurrency market dropped below $200 billion in value, with Bitcoin struggling with the $6,000 mark. In June of 2018, the former hedge fund manager said the leading virtual currency could eventually be worth $1 million per day. He even says right here, Jim Cramer expects the price of Bitcoin to stabilize at $8,000 to $1,000. And I'll explain why I think that is the dumbest number I've ever heard in my entire life. The cryptocurrency market is signaling a risk-off sentiment as market cap breaks below $200 billion and reverses gains obtained in late 2017. Adding to the negative sentiment is Bitcoin's dominance, climbing above 50% as traders hesitate to invest in altcoins. With Bitcoin's market cap heading down to $100 billion, Cramer took the opportunity to indirectly retract his bullish outlook on CNBC's Squawk on the Street. He said, I think that tide has turned against it. I'm not saying his time has passed, but there is a notion that the sun seems to be setting. So first of all, a couple of things before I even go any further. There's an ulterior motive here. You don't state a month and a half ago that you think Bitcoin could potentially be worth $1 million one day in the future, and then all of a sudden you think that Bitcoin is going to fall to $800 to $1,000. I think this number is ridiculous because I think regardless of what other traders around the world are doing, the market has moved last year because of retail investors. That's me, you, all of us listening right now, the smaller people, if you will. I don't foresee I think if Bitcoin even went below $3,000, I think people would start to gobble it up. Even a tenth of a Bitcoin, 0.10, would then be $300. That's an extremely affordable price point. This would mean that 0.10 Bitcoin would be $80. I don't think anywhere in the world you would not see people running to Bitcoin ATMs or overloading Coinbase trying to pick up as much Bitcoin as possible, especially if realistically the price of Bitcoin is at 800 and it's supposedly going to hit 100,000 by 2019 or 2020. I think his prediction, is what I always think, is weird stuff. There's some type of, we've heard a lot of people talking the last couple of weeks about all these coins that they once loved, and that's the part that gets me. If you've hated a coin for 3 or 4 years and you are very consistent, I get it, got it good. But the fact that he said 6 weeks ago that he thought it could one day hit $1 million, and all of a sudden he's completely bearish on it. I don't know if he has just loaded up on more Ethereum Classic, if he himself has tons of Bitcoin and he's just trying to push the price down in order to get more. I don't know, but it seems a little weird. Days earlier, Cramer had CyberArk CEO uDWPVB on his show Mad Money, where he talked about the use of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies for criminal purposes. Mogady told Cramer that ransomware has been a driver of demand for Bitcoin. He said that's a requirement for most of these hackers. Many companies choose to buy Bitcoin in some state or fashion and pay them off. This is actually kind of true as well. Not to bring about any FUD or whatever other things that people are calling this type of news now. Over the last couple of weeks, or actually even months, there's been a lot of people. What we found out is that a lot of banks around the world are actually buying Bitcoin. And aside from them actually buying it because they feel bullish about it, because they think that prices are going to go up, or they feel the crypto is going to be the main thing in the entire world, a lot of these banks and institutions and even hospitals have been getting hacked, and there are a lot of people who are asking for ransom specifically in Bitcoin. So they've actually been buying as much Bitcoin as possible, which is kind of crazy to think about, simply because these people are hacking their systems and then asking them to pay in Bitcoin. So it's kind of this really weird thing where More institutions are definitely buying Bitcoin, but they're doing it out of fear that someone is going to hack them and then ask them. And this is probably only going to accelerate, which is actually kind of scary, because if Bitcoin's price should ever hit $100, even $95,000, we're going to see a lot more of these kind of things happening. On another episode of Squawk on the Street, What a Name, which was recorded in June 2018, Cramer used a ransomware argument to agree with Business Insider CEO Henry Blodgett's prediction that Bitcoin could go to $1 million. He said, I think it could because the European banks are frantically trying to buy it so they can pay off the ransomware. Yeah, there we go. It's a short-term way to be able to deal with cybersecurity. It's the way to pay off the bad guys. That's pretty much exactly what's going on. But think of how bad things would have to get for the price of Bitcoin to actually hit $1 million. That means that every single institution is afraid of being hit, and they're just gobbling up as much Bitcoin as possible, and then that would cause the price to go to $1 million simply because of fear of other people hacking you. Think of how odd that is. As he argued that the price of Bitcoin is unlikely to return to the highs seen in December 2017, when it reaches all-time high of $20,000, Cramer hinted that he expects the price of the virtual currency to continue its downward trajectory and stabilize between $800 and $1,000. I told you guys this before. This was many months ago, even when Bitcoin was around $12,000, and we were talking about, a lot of people kept on saying that they thought the price of Bitcoin was going to go down to $2,000. I think if Bitcoin hits that low, I think something's wrong. Like, I think there's actually a really big problem. If we hit January 2017 prices, that means Bitcoin is broken and some other coin should then at some point usurp it. That means like there's an actual problem. Same exact thing with Ethereum. If Ethereum, the people predicting that Ethereum is going to go back to like $80 or something like that. If Ethereum hits like $15, that means something's wrong with the entire code. Like something is, the people have lost all confidence in it, because even at that point, just looking back at the past prices, I would empty my bank account, and that's not even a joke. I would try and buy as many as possible. So I don't think these prices are real. So I wonder exactly what the motive is behind saying something so negative about something that you at one moment 6 weeks ago felt so bullish about. Last thing that I'm going to kind of touch on a tiny bit. The Ethereum price, at least for right now, a bit earlier, it was actually up a little tiny bit more. I think it was over $300. It was up around 4 or 5%. And this seems to be because I think Vitalik lost it at some point, and yesterday he wrote 75 tweets where he went through the history of Casper, the future of Casper, what's going to happen with Casper, and I think this caused a very bullish sentiment in the market, where he actually went on for a while. This is number 11. He pretty much spoke about the entirety of Casper, what it is, what it's going to do, how it's going to help the system. And I think it kind of just brought a bit of confidence back into maybe even just the Ethereum space. It kind of does, when you have someone who has built something and they're kind of talking about what they've built, and they show like a bit of a passion, if you will, for what they've done. Like I said, not going to spend too much time on this. I'm definitely not going to read through every single one of his tweets. I'm pretty sure you can find him as Vitalik non-giver of Ether on or at Vitalik Buterin on Twitter, and to see if you have time and you want to read all 75 tweets that he sent out. But I think a lot of people, and I think this is also a response to people talking about the price of Ethereum falling and why there haven't been any or much news about any updates. Like when we do have news from Ethereum or from Vitalik about Ethereum or about any updates, it's typically been like, yeah, we're working on it and it's going to come. Yeah, we're working on it. It'll be here soon. Yeah, we're working on it. It'll be here eventually. So I think they know what's going on. We also had a day or two ago where the co-creator of Ethereum was lashing out against multiple coins. I think he said something about XRP. I think he said something about Litecoin. He was talking about Bitcoin. And I think everyone is kind of being backed into a corner. So everyone's trying to just, I guess, find the appropriate way to make their coins better, or I don't really know how to really say it. Anyway, that is definitely going to do it for this video. You may notice that today's video is a tiny bit late. Whatever, I'll tell you guys. Earlier, I had an appointment, had to go to the appointment, was afraid of being late. I made a video. The video didn't work out because it turned out I actually didn't hit the record button. Stupid me. And also, I bought a new microphone. Was trying out the microphone. Couldn't get the settings to work, and this was all as I was trying to rush out of the house, and I think I tried to make a video. The video was probably the weirdest thing you would have ever heard in your entire life. If you thought I spoke fast before, it was like a complete blur. I already forgot half the stuff I was saying. And then I checked and something was wrong with the mic, and then something was wrong with the thing. I hadn't even recorded the video. So I was like, okay, fudge it. I'll just go and go to my thing that I had to go to. But now I'm back. So this is today's video. I don't know if you guys felt like knowing all that, but lo and behold, now you know a bit more about me. I hope you all had a great day, are having a great day. Thank you once again for watching and or listening. This still isn't all the news. I will try to make something else because a lot of really ridiculous stuff is going on in the cryptocurrency space right now. Thank you once again for watching, and I will talk to you all soon. See you.